David here with Dr. G, the realist and the only one. Just came off a fresh stage.
The guy responsible for his social media stardom.
Exactly.
I think that's the fair way of saying it, David.
He's the one pumping me up. Dr. G, you were all over Twitter a couple of weeks ago because of your response to the recent Tucker and Putin interview.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so if you want the deep dive, I did my, I guess my most provocative article. It led to a lot of subscriptions, a lot of hate as well on my Substack. It's called Tucker, Putin, and Trump, SebastianGorka.substack.com. But the bottom line is this. That wasn't journalism. That wasn't Tucker interviewing Putin. That was Putin owning Tucker. I'll give you a couple of examples. Why did you invade Ukraine? First question. And Putin says, oh, just give me 30 seconds. He actually, just give me 30 seconds. 40 minutes later, he's still spewing this. Well, Ukraine isn't a real country. It was invented by the Poles and the Hungarians. I mean, just garbage KGB propaganda. And I don't think we should be, you can get to interview whoever you want, fine. But platforming 40 minutes, denying the existence of a state that actually predates the Duchy of Muscovy. If you know your history, you know that the Kiev Rus, the Vikings from Kiev, predate any Russian conglomeration.
Oh, yeah.
So number one. Second, halfway through, the most interesting thing in the interview is when Putin's saying, well, the CIA and all the stuff they do, blowing up Nord Stream. Yeah, I mean, just again, CIA propaganda against America. And then he says, and I'm so glad, Tucker, that when you applied to the CIA, that they didn't allow you in. And then watch Tucker's face. Yep. He's totally unready. Why? Because it's true. Tucker did apply to the CIA for some reason. He didn't get in. And the idea that you didn't think that a former KGB colonel who has access to the KGB and SDR files didn't look up Tucker's history and he's not ready, he was owned. And then the last thing is, and I got to do it, this is it. Tucker knows better. To go around Moscow and then to go to something called, how creepy is the Global Government Summit that Tucker speaks at a week later and says, well, the subways in Moscow are very clean and there's no crime. Yeah, the same is true in Saddam Hussein's Iraq when he was in charge and when Stalin built those subways with slave labor. You know better, Tucker. So I'd like to know why you're saying stuff about a dictatorship that kills the leader of the opposition, Navalny, 2 days after you give those video interviews. That's a sign of what Putin's really like. And I remember the good old days when conservatives never loved KGB colonels. Let's return to that conservatism.
Well, why are conservatives suddenly liking these anti-conservative values, their anti-Western values essentially as well?
That's a really complicated question. I would recommend everybody. It's on my Twitter feed. Konstantin Kisin, who has the Trigonometry podcast with his colleague Francis Foster in the UK. He was born in the Soviet Union. He's an ethnic Russian. He's married to a Ukrainian. And he did an 11-minute analysis of the truth about Tucker and Tucker Carlson and Putin. And it was amazing. And he used this amazing phrase. We are seeing the wokeification of the right. Yeah. What is woke? Woke is denying reality. A man can be a woman. You don't need borders to be a country. And now we're seeing conservatives who are rightly cynical after Afghanistan, Iraq, COVID, getting to a point where it's not cynicism, it's skepticism. And they think, oh, look, Putin says he doesn't like the World Economic Forum. He's got to be a good guy. Well, guess who else doesn't like the World Economic Forum? ISIS and Al-Qaeda and Iran and North Korea. Are they good guys too? So I think it's bred of cynicism and also what has happened to conservatives in the last 8, 10 years in America? Yeah, our president wins an election and he's not allowed to actually be the president. So there's lots of resentment. But my request to you, as somebody who chose this nation, I am a legal immigrant whose father was liberated from a communist prison. Don't give in to the skepticism and cynicism, and let's return to conservative values, freedom, liberty, national sovereignty, and don't pump up KGB colonels. Please, can we agree?
I think that'll be great. Thank you so much, Dr. G.
Thanks, David.